Zoma Frost has begun a lot of good PR lately because of her appearance in Marvel Rivals and the interesting skins that came along with it. But today I'm here to destroy some of that good PR and remind everybody why she's still seen as a bad guy in the eyes of many X-Men. And it all revolves around her manipulating and severely traumatizing a young, innocent mutant girl named Angelica Jones. In 1986, there was a 4-issue limited run that introduced her to the world. And in that, she started out with a story that's pretty similar to a lot of, young mutants. She feels like she's an outcast. Nobody really understands her. The only body who really thinks she's special is her grandma. Unfortunately, before the issue even starts, we find out that she lost her mom. So it's just her grandma, and her dad. Because of her dad's job, she has to move schools a lot. So she starts at a new school and she already feels like an outcast because of the weird powers she's starting to feel, but also because nobody likes her and nobody wants to talk to her. Nobody wants to be her friend. So it's just pretty much all bad for her at this new school. That's when Emma Frost comes in. At this point of the X-Men comics, she is the headmistress of the Massachusetts Academy, which in and of itself is kind of like an analog to the Xavier Institute. It's a school, but it also masquerades as a training ground for young mutants. And as the leader of the Hellfire Club, the White Queen, Emma Frost is the head of everything. And they even have their own sort of cerebral machine that they use to track her and other mutants. Like, this is how they found Angelica in the first place. And after Angelica's grandmother dies and she reveals that she has powers to her father, when they're both at their lowest, Emma Frost comes in and does the perfect manipulation job and recruits her to her own Massachusetts Academy. Small side note, it was just funny when this happened. Professor X and Nightcrawler were sitting in the car because they had sensed her too and went to go find her and talk to her and probably, bring her to the Xavier Institute. But so they're sitting inside the car and they see her, Emma Frost, talking to her, and they're just like, "Oh man, we missed our opportunity. Sorry, we can't do anything to help her because Emma Frost talked to her first." Right? That just feels like they could probably put some more effort into trying to save this girl from being manipulated by someone they know is clearly very evil. They're just like, "Oh man, they talked to her first. She called dibs. We can't do anything." Like, really, Professor? Can't do anything just because you missed talking to her first? So fast forward a year and she seems fully established at the Massachusetts Academy. She even has a horse that she calls one of her best friends named Butterrum. Remember this. And Emma Frost is also seemingly one of her best friends. Like, it seems she really trusts and supports everything Emma Frost is doing at the school and puts a lot of faith into her, like many of Professor X students put into him. The Hellfire Brigade runs various tests on her, and they're basically foaming at the mouth at her potential. And Emma Frost can't wait to just grab all that potential and make it her own. They use images of Professor X and Wolverine as a means to test her power and really instill into her head that those are the enemies that are trying to get her and trying to put her down. A lot of anti-mutant sentiment, which, to be fair, it is true at the time. There was a lot of anti-mutant sentiment, but obviously it wasn't coming from Wolverine and Professor X. And even amongst other mutants at a school where it would seem like she'd be able to make friends and relate to people, she can't even hang out with them because Emma Frost forbids her from leaving the school's grounds without supervision. Naturally, she never even wants to talk to the human students at the school because of how she's been treated by human students throughout her life. And she even resents her dad now for sending her here. And she hates being a mutant, and she just hates her own existence. And a lot of this is manipulated by Emma Frost directly because she sees her as special and wants to extract that specialness and use it for herself and her own personal bodyguard or whatever it is she wants to do. Due to Angelica's ability to absorb and project microwave energy, Emma Frost and Shaw, another founding member of the Hellfire Club, come to the conclusion that she would be the perfect assassin, able to fry people from the inside without an autopsy ever even being able to identify who or what did it to them. So that's what they're training her up for, training for her up to be the perfect assassin for the Hellfire Club. She's even given a hallucinator bracelet to further her mental destruction, flashing images of the X-Men and all these righteous forces, making her hate them at a subconscious level, making her lonely and bitter. And they're going to use that, as a way to manipulate her even further and teach her to kill. Even a normal thing like a teenager wanting to go to the dance is still going to be used as a form of manipulation somehow. Like you can't even give her one night of a break. Like even the dance has to be a way to manipulate her. I mean, if nothing else, Emma Frost is extremely thorough. The Friday morning of the dance, Angelica is meeting one of her best friends, Butterrum the horse, one of the only friends she has, sadly. And, she's excited, telling her about the new dress that Emma Frost got for her, and how if she could, she would model it for Butterrum. And then she noticed the groomsman, taking all the horses and not Butterrum. And she asks what he's doing, and she says, or the guy says, they're all going to a show down south. They'll be gone a couple of weeks, but Butterrum's staying. And then she feels like this is just Miss Frost being the kindest person in the world, because she knew that her and Butterrum would hate being apart. Surely nothing bad happens from this situation. And even later on in that night when she's, connecting, having a real connection with a boy like any teenage girl would dream to do. Sam from the X-Men, which the X-Men kind of stupidly agreed to come to this event when they were invited by Emma Frost. I don't know why Storm and Colossus agreed to this. Why would they think anything good would happen? But anyway, they're connecting and she has her, her first kiss, which again, just normal teenage things that every teenager wants and would love to go through. And right on cue, as soon as it happens, she's hit with an Emma Frost brain blast, telling her that she's hurting this innocent boy. And what was she thinking, imagining that she could even have a moment of happiness to herself? She runs to the stable, the one place on this entire planet really, where she feels even a sense of solace, and finds it engulfed in flames. But fortunately, she's able to save Butterrum. They escape the barn and escape the flames. You think Emma Frost was about to let the story have a happy ending? She gives the horse a heart attack and ensures that it dies, even if the flames missed it. Angelica thinks she's the one who started the fire, but it was Emma Frost all along. And now every time Angelica thinks of this day, she will only know fear and death, and know that Emma Frost was the only one who consoled her. And that's what Emma Frost is going to use as a means to permanently control her body and soul. Just evil in its purest form. The name White Queen really does suit her. If you like this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one.